Cordozar Broadus Jr A.K.A. Snoop Dogg was born on October 20, 1971 in Long Beach, California. His father Vernell Varnado left the family when Snoop was only 3 months old, and Snoop had to be named after his stepfather Calvin Cordozar Broadus Sr. His biological father, who was a Vietnam veteran, was largely absent from Snoop's life, and Snoop had to adapt growing up without the love of a biological father. Snoop had to also witness his mother parting ways with his stepfather after their divorce in 1975 when Snoop was still very young. Consequently, at 12 years, Snoop found solace in a notorious gang and would say that while with the gang, he felt like he was around a real family. Snoop's singing talent began back when he began playing piano and singing at the Golgotha Trinity Baptist Church, and in his 6th grade, when Snoop started rapping. In school hallways, Snoop would attract big crowds of students with his rap, and this made him realize that he had a powerful gift. However, Snoop did not grow up in a privileged background, and the icon endured his share of heartbreaks, struggles, and tragic experiences. As a child, after his stepfather moved to Detroit, Snoop had to perform odd chores including selling candy, bagging groceries, and selling newspapers to help his mother in fending for his 2 brothers. Having been born and raised up in the tough life of Long Beach, Snoop was caught up in a series of fights between various fractions of Crips, which was the most violent and largest gang in U.S. Snoop was always scared for his life, as he was often targeted in gang shootouts. While still in high school, Snoop was involved in drug peddling, and soon after graduating high school, Snoop became frequent in violating the law and was constantly jailed in various correctional facilities, including the Wayside prison. His mother could not stomach the drama that was revolving around Snoop's life, and she had to kick him out from their home at 17, with Snoop having no clue of where to go. In an interview, Snoop narrated his eye-opening experiences while in the Wayside prison. At Wayside, I listened to stories told by fellow inmates and would write them in my notepad and would later turn them into rap. Then the older inmates were like, "You don't belong here. God gave you some talent. Use it wisely." Soon, when out of jail, Snoop heeded to the advice from his former inmates, and he began recording homemade freestyle music with his cousins under the group moniker 213. Snoop was still naive in the music industry, and photographers took advantage of Snoop's naivety as a young man and would often tell him to hold pistols while posing for magazine pictures. The photographers would dupe Snoop that he would look hardcore if he took pictures holding a gun. It is clear that the photographers were sadly taking advantage of Snoop's gang-related life to earn publicity for their magazines. While working on his debut album The Chronic, Snoop was enmeshed in a murder trial at the West Los Angeles courtroom. Snoop was accused of driving a Jeep from which his former bodyguard McKinnley Lee fired fatal shots at 20-year-old Philip Woldemariam, who was a member of a rival gang. Snoop and Lee argued that the unfortunate fatal shooting of Woldemariam was an act of self-defense and nothing more. Snoop narrated that it was a traumatizing time for him, as he lived with uncertainty for 3 years, fearing if he would live to see his family again. In 1996, Snoop and his bodyguard Lee were acquitted of murder. The traumatic case changed Snoop's style of writing music. Snoop avoided writing about death since it was clear that glorifying death would ruin his life. Snoop was ready to abandon his gangster lifestyle, as it was now clear that it would either land him in jail or lead to his assassination. However, Knight and Tupac wanted Snoop to retain his gangster life, and while Snoop remained adamant about changing his life, Tupac and Knight branded Snoop a traitor for wanting to abandon the gangster life. After Dr. Dre left Death Row Records in 1996, it was apparent to Snoop that he was now left under the hands of Suge Knight, who was the co-founder of Death Row Records. It meant that Death Row would own anything that Snoop would produce for years. Suge Knight was notoriously known for his narcissism and use of threats and violence to intimidate his artists. Snoop would not settle for this, and the singer refused to produce any more tracks under Suge Knight. Snoop's beef with Suge Knight culminated to death threats, and soon Snoop was looking for a way to detach himself from Knight. It seems 1996 was a very traumatizing experience for Snoop, for he also lost his brotherly friend Tupac Shakur. Tupac's death hit Snoop hard, and he was now more than ever convinced to change from his gangster lifestyle, even if it would endanger his life. Thankfully, the opportunity to break ties with Knight came when Knight was sentenced to 9 years in prison. Thanks for watching, and see you in our next video. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and give us a thumbs up if you liked the video.